I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. Bring you in here under these conditions, but I'm afraid that I have to tell you that you have been traded to the New York Mets. I have the phone number of their GM. I'll give that to you. It's a good guy. You get this is we're trading things and players away on today's episode. Don't you go anywhere. We're starting in 30 seconds. Happy Monday and welcome into another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks show. We may have just started the week, but it's already over for this team. Welcome in. My name is Derek Monte, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX. We got our guy, Damon Dog, on the ones and twos today. Bark, bark to him. And no, I'm not trading away Damon in the middle of this show. You don't have to worry about hug watch on this show. I do my business in between, episodes for sure. But welcome in to you guys. Thank you for being here. Of course, this show's brought to you by our friends at Bet365 and Game Time. Go download that Bet365 app and use our code of PHNX365 when you sign up. You'll get yourself some bonus bets for following some easy steps, win or lose. And over at Game Time, of course, use our code of PHNX and you will get $20 off your first ticket purchase. Great to have you guys here. I did trade away Jesse Jr. for cash considerations and a can of corn, but again, it's a fire sale around here, and that's what happens. The Diamondbacks.
We need him on a contender, Derek.
Yeah,
He deserves
that's really what we should be rooting for, is all of our boys, all of our players to be traded away to contenders so they can know what it's like to live life, to go out there and thrive in the way that Josh Naylor is thriving with the Seattle Mariners. However, he's still wearing his snake belt, so I know we're still in his heart somewhere. But the Diamondbacks may have no heart left after their performance in Pittsburgh. You have no truer indication that it is over for the Arizona Diamondbacks in their season than the fact that in 3 games against the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Diamondbacks managed to score 0 earned runs. That's right. 0 earned runs, even though they took 1 out of 3 games and lose the series two out of 3. They still didn't score a single earned run. Let's throw those ridiculous stats up there. Let's get the numbers. This is our numbers for the series against the Pirates. This is the numbers for the series against the Pirates. Talk about 2 awful baseball teams that are worth being laughed at.
Does that say 0 for 19, Derek?
That is 0 for 19. They were 0 for 9 in game 1. They were 0 for 1 in game 2, and 0 for 9 once again in game 3. If my math isn't as bad as Jesse tells me it is, I believe that's 0 for 19. Meanwhile, the Pirates were 2 for 18. For a 111 batting average with runners in scoring position. 1 home run was hit in this entire series by either team. 1 single home run. Diamondbacks only scored 1 run in this entire series, like I said, and it was unearned because it was Corbin Carroll scoring in the 11th inning of the extra innings game of game 1. So it is an unearned run. Diamondbacks here, as you can see, starting pitching ERA for the Pirates, 0.00. Relief pitching ERA for the Pirates, 0.00. Starting pitching ERA here for the Diamondbacks, not terrible, 2.41, 2.16 for the bullpen, but it is against the worst offense in baseball, so none of those numbers really matter. All that really matters is what the Diamondbacks didn't do offensively. Scotty Mack is here to start the anti-Torey discourse, and I will just say, Torey has not lost this team. And you can stop really blaming on Torey. He's saying nothing left to play for. Torey can't motivate his team to give a rip. I do think that the losing is not only impacting them, but I do think the Diamondbacks are very well aware of the situation. And I think the realization here is that they're all kind of lost because of the trades, right? I mean, it's not to say that they were producing well offensively here prior to this series, but the pressure was definitely on. And the Diamondbacks come in here and lay an absolute egg against the Pittsburgh Pirates. And a large part of that is because before the series even started, Josh Naylor gets traded away to the Seattle Mariners. And then in the middle of game 2, we have Randall Grichuk get traded away to the Kansas City Royals on Saturday. I was in a pool relaxing and enjoying myself, so of course a trade was inevitably going to happen. I did watch Superman on Sunday and shocked that a third one didn't happen during that period of time as well. But
I got to say, though, Derek, I as much as, I think that this team does take the shape of their manager from an emotional standpoint. We know Torey is an emotional guy, and I think losing players that people are, they like and they enjoy being around, I think that this team is showing that, they are somewhat of an emotional team.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's clearly why this offense is sputtering right now. I don't know if it's about Torey not being unable to motivate them. I think it's because they were almost so connected together that they're losing their minds right now.
You pull the first thread and it all falls apart, right? And
that was a poor way of saying it.
Right. But I mean, again, a lot of us saw these trades as being inevitable. A lot of us gave up on this team well before the trade started happening and thought that this is a team that does not appear to contend. They can't seem to put together winning stretches. And that's what has lacked out of this team. Everybody's brought it up too. Torey has brought it up. Mike Hazen has brought it up. We really haven't seen this team, no matter how good they play, continue to play well for a stretch. It feels like there's always the immediate coming back down to earth, a series sweep followed by losing and getting swept, win a game, lose a game, do well on a road trip, immediately lose the next series to a team that you probably should beat. This has been the Diamondbacks season, right? And as some people have pointed out, it absolutely started happening. I mean, the Diamondbacks, the struggles of this team started early in the season before they started losing guys to injury. So there is that. The Diamondbacks underperformed early on in the season as well. But once the Tommy John surgery started happening and Diamondbacks kept losing player after player, like this was Final Destination and some sort of weird injury bug was literally hunting down each one of the Diamondbacks' UCLs in the lineup. It just didn't help a team that was already still finding their identity, still trying to live up to the expectations that they had for this season. But those injuries, I will die on this hill that the injuries are the reason why this Diamondbacks team had such a terrible season.
For sure.
And I don't really think it's the play of anybody else. In fact, I do agree with what you guys are saying, though. I don't even know. Yam Sam says, as rough as a year Torey has had, players got to play some baseball.
1,000%, man.
1,000%. And right now, we're not seeing that, right? Right now, we're not seeing a sense of pride. We're not seeing them step up. We're not seeing them try to prove anything to the front office that says, please don't trade off my teammates. It's more of shock and awe because the trades have happened. It was like a situation they were trying to do their best to avoid, and now we're here, and now they don't seem to be handling it well at all, right? So we have Josh Naylor being traded to the Mariners, and honestly, Josh, shut up. Go back in your office, Shane. He's so giddy and happy that they have Josh Naylor on the Mariners. You should have seen his stupid face right now. But yeah, Josh Naylor traded for a few young players, and again, that trade, not a bad trade for the Diamondbacks. I do think that what they got in return is pretty good, especially considering that we saw Brandon Garcia make his debut for this team at a major league level in Game 3 of this series on Sunday. He went out there, had one inning of scoreless work. He did walk one, but that was it. And again, nice to see the Diamondbacks get a piece that contributes immediately in Garcia to this bullpen, as well as a piece that could really be a part of the Diamondbacks' future in Ashton Izzy, or yet another piece that maybe could be traded for assets at a later time. Regardless, I don't think that the Josh Naylor trade was bad. I do hate that we're on hug watch, Damon. I hate that what happened on Saturday was in the middle of the game, everybody had to start paying attention to the fact that Randall Grichuk, who was in the lineup, randomly started grabbing his things and hugging his players and leaving the dugout. And I don't want to do this. I don't want to do hug watch.
We standle, man.
Oh, we standle Randall Grichuk for sure. I don't know who I'm going to miss more at the ballpark, Randall or his son Vincent, but it breaks my heart not seeing either one of them. However,
and you didn't even get to hug him goodbye.
I didn't get to hug anybody goodbye. I wanted to hug Gino goodbye, and it was weird. And he specifically said he didn't want to talk about being traded, so I felt like that was only going to add to it. Going back to Vincent Grichuk, the tiny baseball GM walking around Chase Field, I'm sad. I'm sad to not see my little tiny baseball GM out there at batting practice any longer. But Grichuk also was a guy that was underutilized by this team and was really their only, I guess, consistent right-handed weapon, it felt like at times. So I don't know what they're going to do, because I feel like they just did get weaker against left-handed pitching, and that's already been a weakness for this offense.
Well, they're not trying to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that's fair. That's fair. And let's see, Elise here, aka Mike Hazen, sending a message in our chat, says they didn't think the front office was serious. This is our threatening people, basically. They didn't think the front office was serious. Naylor and Grichuk were warning to wake them up, and instead they sleptwalk in Pittsburgh. Well said.
It was embarrassing, man.
It was. I mean, I don't know how you could classify it as anything else, especially considering that I think we're far past the point of saying, oh, the Diamondbacks, could they save their season? No, I think this maybe they were on life support when they won that series against the Cardinals, but when they turned around and got swept immediately after that, that was it. So it's not like doing much here over this stretch in this 9-game road trip leading up to the to the trade deadline and beyond was going to do much. But again, the Diamondbacks did get back another young pitcher who made his debut this year and is under team control in exchange for Randall Grichuk. In his first season in major leagues, he's had 3 relief appearances, 4 2/3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs allowed, 7 hits, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. He made his major league debut on May 30th this year against the Tigers and had himself a great season for AAA Omaha from Andrew Hoffman. He had since June 7th, he has a 1.23 ERA with an opponent batting average of 192, 1 walk, and 18 strikeouts. So again, a good piece in return, a good young controllable piece for a guy that honestly was not being utilized well on this team and was another player that was going to be out of here after the season is over. ESPN 3546 waves the white flag, and they definitely did that. They definitely did that in the middle of the game. Meanwhile, who else is going to be traded, right? Someone in the chat, I can't see it right now, but said Gallen must go. Zach Gallen is obviously one of those pieces that is definitely on the trade market. However, he had yet another bad outing, which does not help his value and does not help the Diamondbacks move him right now. And they do have the safety net of giving Gallen that qualifying offer and having him reject it so that they get the competitive balance pick. However, not a great value right now for Zach Gallen. Meanwhile, Merrill Kelly is another guy that is absolutely on the market. His value is still fairly high this season, and a lot of people, myself included, were hoping that if the Diamondbacks do trade Merrill Kelly, that they could possibly re-sign him in the offseason and bring him back.
Priority number 1, I'd argue.
I mean, that would be the priority. Would you prioritize Merrill Kelly over bringing back Eugenio Suarez?
Man. I mean, I think that this team needs pitching more than it needs.
I think you're right.
Hitting, but
and it's also how much is it going to cost you to bring back Suarez versus bring back Merrill Kelly?
Yeah, I think like you could probably get Merrill on like a 2+1 maybe.
Yeah.
Whereas
at his age,
I think Gino's probably bringing like a 4-year contract to the table. 5-year contract.
Seth Lugo just signed a contract extension, 2 years, $46 million for Seth Lugo.
Man, that's expensive.
To stay with the Royals, right?
I'd pay that for Merrill, but
does that not drive up the price of Merrill Kelly?
For
like,
sure.
Does his market not just increase due to that, or his value not increase? Not to mention the fact that, again, he is probably more valuable to the Diamondbacks than he even is going to be to another team. So,
but let me just put this caveat in there: Jordan Montgomery off the books
for sure.
$20 million hole in the pocket. I'm not saying that Ken's going to want to spend the way that he has spent this last offseason because it seems like, Corbin Burns, Justin Martinez, like they're not going to be fully ready to go. That being said, I we have a lot of money to play with on the table for a starting pitcher. I'd love to see Merrill Kelly, and I think every Diamondbacks fan would love to see Merrill Kelly be brought back.
And I mean, again, you're right, because Merrill Kelly his entire career has been in the Valley. he has been a Valley guy, and he is somebody that I don't know. Like there's a way that Devin Booker really embraces and like represents the Valley, right? Like he represents our culture, and in a way, there's kind of like a blue collar, gritty, grinded out kind of mentality to Merrill Kelly, where again we talked about his numbers not being truly sexy, but the performance, the end of the day, what Merrill Kelly gives you night in, night out is, and the fact that he just quietly does his job has always been something that has been
sexy.
Sexy, yeah.
I think that's right. That's what you're trying to
when you
bring
look
it back
like
to
Chris
that.
Elliott, but you can still make people find you sexy, then you're doing something right at your job for sure. But his price is very high for Merrill Kelly now, and it's probably only going to get higher once we do reach free agency and you see what other pitchers are getting, right? So there is just this need, I think, to make these moves, especially considering what we saw this weekend. Right. You know, this is it. I don't know what they're going to do, but like you said, does it matter? I mean, I chopped it up with John Gambadoro, and Gambo believes strongly that, you know, again, you can get these starts out of Bryce Jarvis, and you can get these starts out of Anthony DeSclafani, and you can get through the season. It's not going to be great. It's not, the results aren't going to be as desired, but you know, there just comes a point where it doesn't really matter, no matter how. If you wave the white flag, it really doesn't matter what the end result is and what the record is at this point. But again, it's about what the return is going to be. And in fact, it would appear the Diamondbacks are asking so much for Eugenio Suarez that is the reason why the Yankees have shied away. The Yankees went and acquired Ryan McMahon from the Rockies, and according to reports, they backed off the Eugenio Suarez trade sweepstakes after hearing Mike Hazen's asking price. And I say good. And, you know, even if this becomes one of those things where Mike Hazen has to wait until the 11th hour, you know that the value for Gino is there. And you know that you don't need to get shortchanged here. In fact, this is one of those situations where you have the most coveted player at the trade deadline, essentially, and you have so many teams interested that there is no reason not to get exactly what your asking price is for him. And I think they should stick to it, quite frankly. I really do. And if they don't, and Suarez stays here, then he gives the Diamondbacks a chance to continue to possibly win baseball games. But you can tell even from his performance lately that he is impacted by this trade deadline, and he has not been hitting well, nor has anybody really been hitting well on the Diamondbacks. This is a depressing time on this team. And at this point, I think that perhaps once we get through the deadline, we'll see them, you know, maybe turn things around a little bit, but I also think that, you know, they aren't performing the way they should considering the situation. Baseball's a mental game though, right? And when you get yourself into a bad place mentally, you can't really perform well. And, you know, again, that's something that is definitely on Torey Lovullo to try to find a way to manage and to motivate and get the most out of his players during a very dark time. He's sad. The pitching, you know, the coaching staff is sad. Nobody's happy that this is going on. Nobody is happy that, you know, here around the 110 game mark, your season is over with over 50 games left to play in the season. Nobody is happy about that. But I think that there comes a point where you have to accept it and you move on. You try to still go out there and give it your best every day and perform. But you also, at least from the perspective of the front office, need to try to do everything you can to maximize what you get in return for these guys that, you know, based on your budgeting, you most likely aren't going to be able to bring back this season. So again, I don't know if Hazen is going to scare people away by his asking price on Gino being too high. But if that's the case, I don't think many of us that watch this team and are going to continue to watch this team after the trade deadline hate the idea of getting to watch Eugenio Suarez still play baseball in a Diamondbacks uniform. You just might hate at the end of the day what the Diamondbacks potentially missed out on receiving in return for him when the free agency period comes and goes this offseason, and the Diamondbacks, you know, maybe end up without Suarez as a part of this team at that point. But hey, why does any of this matter? We probably won't even be playing baseball in 2027. So there's that dreadful outcome and future to look forward to as well. We're going to talk about that on Mailbag Monday. But first, we're going to preview the Diamondbacks series here coming up against the Detroit Tigers. And even though they might be one of the best teams in baseball, maybe the Diamondbacks caught them at a good time. Does it even matter? I don't know anymore. I don't think I care either. Damon doesn't care. Damon's checked out. Like I said, he abandoned us last week, and that's probably why the Diamondbacks gave up all hope.
I said I needed to go watch some real baseball, Derek, and what did the White Sox do?
They clobbered the Cubs.
Put it on the Cubs' head.
They really did. They really did. All right, well, we're going to talk about that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Shout out to Shady Rays. We love our Shady Rays around here. They are a world-class product that don't charge you a world-class price for their sunglasses. They also have the craziest lost and broken replacement plan on all of eyewear. Well, they will get you a new pair of shades if you lose or break your shades, even on day one. No questions asked. Just got to fill out a form, get it over to the fine folks at Shady Rays, and they will get you back. They also got your back after purchasing. Of course, if you don't love your Shady Rays, you got 30 days to return them or exchange them worry-free with Shady Rays. But you probably won't have to because they have durable frames that'll fit your face and make you look beautiful. They also have some crystal clear optics with their polarized lenses that will protect your eyes from this terrible sun out here and keep you looking cool. They also have these color rush lenses that are amazing. They're polarized and they make everything look even brighter and more colorful than real life. So give them a try over at shadyrays.com. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use our code of PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. And again, speaking of the sun, it's a dreadful time to be here in Arizona, not only because of the way our baseball team is playing, but because of how hot it is outside. And All Pro Shades concepts can help you extend your outdoor living space and make that a more pleasant environment. They can also offer you some roll down patio shades that can keep your patio up to 20 degrees cooler and block out 95% of those harmful UV rays. But you can extend your outdoors living space with a motorized awning that raises up, gives you a bigger area to hang out with, and it can be customized with a remote control, LED lights, and so much more. They also will work with your HOA to ensure compliance with colors and all of that. And they have hundreds of colors to choose from. So check out everything they have to offer. They can replace and fix most old or outdated patio shades and motorized awnings, and they have been in business right here in the Valley for 20 years. They have a BBB A+ rating with over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google, and they are licensed, bonded, and insured. Give them a call at 623-204-1476 or visit allproshadeconcepts.com now to schedule your free estimate. Scotty Mack in the chat says, I don't see how this team doesn't lose the next 3 series. Boy, Scotty, you are not wrong. And it's not just the next 3 series. I feel like between this point at the end of the season, the Diamondbacks just have an awful schedule ahead of them. And it's very hard to see a lot of areas for success. I don't know how this, and maybe that contributes to this whole thing, right? Sometimes you do have to take into consideration a team's performance and then look ahead and see what still lies before them. And in this case, there are lots of games against the Dodgers, the Padres, the Giants, so many teams that stand in their way, so many teams from the division, so many teams between them and having a wild card spot, not to mention the fact that now you have the Cubs and the Brewers both tied for their division. Both of those teams have really good records, and it's most likely that whoever loses that race will most likely end up, if they continue playing the way they're playing, with the number 1 wild card spot. So boom, there's 1 wild card spot out of the way. Now you have the New York Mets winning 7 games in a row, going for their 8th win in a row today. They take over the number 1 spot in the NL East over the Phillies, who've been playing good baseball all season long. They are like, you can almost now guarantee that whoever loses that division most likely will end up with one of those 2 wild card spots. So with it being truly down just to 1, I mean, the Diamondbacks' chances just keep getting more and more stacked against them. And again, there's always Cinderella stories. There's always underdog stories. And the Diamondbacks, honestly, have always kind of been one of those teams that have been an underdog, have been a Cinderella story. It's just hard to see a path to success or to even making the playoffs with what lies before them, factoring in the way they played baseball all season long, right? Not to mention that they, were second in OPS. They've currently fallen to 4th in team OPS. And without the likes of Josh Naylor as a part of this team and Randall Grichuk against left-handed bats, there's a chance that their OPS only gets worse from this point on as the season goes on. So despite the fact that they had one of the best offenses in baseball, that most likely won't be the case anymore without the pieces that they're losing. Now you factor in they might trade away Eugenio Suarez and If they do that, then that's another huge hit to their offense. That's pretty much their single power bat this season outside of Corbin and Ketel. And while those guys have been a pleasant surprise, neither one of those guys are doing the damage with the home run ball or the slugging percentage as Gino is. So again, Scotty Mack, I love you. I know you're not always the most positive Diamondbacks fan in the world, but you are very realistic. And in this case, I kind of agree with you where I don't see how this team doesn't lose the next 3 series as well. Folding Chair asks over under on 74 wins. I'd probably take an under right now. And that's pretty awful to say. But again, that's probably playing it fairly safe.
What happened to the game I love, Derek?
What happened to the team I love? Well, they're going up against one of the best teams in baseball. But like I said, they are catching the Detroit Tigers at the best time because they have not been playing good baseball lately. And we do miss Tarek Skubal here in this series. So that's a good thing. But let's take a look at the Tigers at a glance. They have a 61-46 record this season. They are plus 62 run differential. And they are everything I aspire to be. And that picture, I don't know if it's intentionally hilarious or if you just did it because it fires you up. But either way, that's an A+, if not S tier picture for an at a glance. I just need to throw that out there.
Tarek Skubal is, one of the coolest players in baseball, and he should be a Diamondback.
Have you seen his Joker laugh after things happen? Apparently, Pitching Ninja has compared his little smirk and laugh to being very Joker like, and that's
wow,
something I enjoy. But
it's kind of like Kevin Ginkel.
A little bit. Fire me up. Well, OPS for this team 730, which is good enough for 11th in Major League Baseball. They are 2-8 in their last 10, so that's the part. If you want some copium to hit on, there's some copium to hit on right there. Starting pitching ERA has been incredible for them all season long, but like I said, they haven't been playing good baseball lately. They're down to 6th in Major League Baseball with their 3.58 ERA. Their relief pitching ERA is 4.24, which is 20th, and outs above average. They are the most average team when it comes to outs above average. They have 1, which is good for 15th in baseball. So again, not that it matters, but hey, maybe they have a chance to beat the Tigers. You beat the Tigers, you gain some confidence, and you start believing in yourself. Ryan H93 in the chat says Detroit or Detroit. Which one are we saying, Damon?
Should we call Noah Ulbricht right now and figure it out?
Yeah, because this feels like a Louisville situation where
sure.
Like I was saying it wrong, and then Jesse pointed out how mad Brandon Fott would be at me for the way I was pronouncing Louisville, and I don't ever want to do that. But Detroit or Detroit, if there's anybody from that place, you can tell us correctly how it's pronounced locally. I need to know that. But anyway, either way, they're a tough team, and it's gonna present a tough situation for the Diamondbacks. We have no idea what their probable pitchers really look like. We know who's going in game 1 today against Eduardo Rodriguez. That's what we know. And outside of that, we don't really know. A lot of TBDs. You know that guy. He's always trouble for the Diamondbacks. But Erod going against his former team here. He is 3-6 this year with a 5.50 ERA. He has 93 strikeouts this year. He's going up against Troy Melton. No relation to Chris Melton, I don't think, but right-handed pitcher. He's 0-1 this season. He has a 10.80 ERA, so he's contributing strongly there to the Tigers' big ERA for starting pitching. He has just 7 strikeouts. He has just 1 game pitch this season. Brandon Fott and Ryan Nelson go in the other 2 games. As far as the pitching stacks up, Damon, did we got, is that, maybe that switched, I'm sorry. Zach Gallen going in game 3 here and not Ryan Nelson. Zach Gallen here, again, possibly the last start for the Diamondbacks if he's still part of the roster at that point. Brandon Fott, meanwhile, 4.76 ERA this season, 95 strikeouts for Fott.
I think we just made a mistake on that graphic, and it meant to be Ryan Nelson.
Okay,
right? Because is it Ryan Nelson? Aren't those his stats?
Ryan Nelson is 6-2 with a 3.29 ERA. Yeah. Zach Gallen wishes he has a 3.29 ERA.
And was 6-2.
He wished he was 6-2 with a 3.29 ERA. His value would be through the roof.
7-12 with a 5.60
oh,
ERA.
God, we could ask for everything. No. Elise, it was wrong. Elise knows she's the one that demands who is in the pitching rotation in what order, so of course she knows. But no, that is Ryan Nelson there going at 6'2" and 3.29. And again, my question to you stands. Kind of crazy to think that you look here, you see Brandon Pfaadt, you see Ryan Nelson, and you think, all right, well, the Diamondbacks actually have a chance. And that's sad because, again, those two guys are now the best pitchers in the rotation as opposed to even Merrill Kelly. And, again, Merrill Kelly still puts up some great numbers, but I'll tell you, I feel pretty good about Brandon Pfaadt and Ryan Nelson anytime those two guys are part of a 3-game series for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. Ryan Nelson is the horse of this pitching rotation, which we all expected going into the year. And Brandon Pfaadt is either really good or horrific. So sometimes he's the second best pitcher, and sometimes he's your worst pitcher, which is a fun game we like to play. So I don't really know what to expect from this rotation outside of Ryan Nelson, it feels like at this point.
I don't either. Nor do I know if we just saw Merrill Kelly pitch in his last game as an Arizona Diamondback.
See, that was sad when he like just stood out there and just looked at the field for a second.
Yeah.
That hurt a little bit.
It did. But again,
that guy carried us to a World Series, man.
Well, and he came here right from pitching in Korea, and the Diamondbacks took a chance on him, and you couldn't be more thankful that they did, because his time here, if it is indeed up, was amazing. He leaves here with the third most wins in franchise history. Wow. And again, that's something that I'm sure surprises a lot of people. He passed by Curt Schilling, so he sits behind Randy Johnson and Brandon Webb for the third most wins in franchise history. Zach Gallen, of course, will probably end up there in fourth behind him as well. So it's hard not to be a little sad about this era of Diamondbacks baseball ending, to miss both of those guys, considering what they gave this team. And again, talking about trading someone like Jazz Chisholm to the Marlins for Zach Gallen and taking a chance on Merrill Kelly, these two guys outperformed anything you could have imagined them being. It's unfortunate that Gallen, as some of you have pointed out, started his decline there back in 2023 and just really never got up to being as consistent as he was when he debuted and blew through the league and set that record for the most starts with 3 earned runs allowed. But
don't worry, he's going to win a Cy Young on his next team. You don't need to worry about Zach Gallen.
I think that's another thing that really is depressing me, is how well these guys probably will perform
Max
elsewhere.
Scherzer, Trevor Bauer.
Trevor Bauer.
He won a Cy Young.
He also just got the longest home run in Japanese history.
I'm not making it about him right now. I'm saying that we traded him away and he won a Cy Young award. That is what's going to happen with Zach Gallen.
Okay, with not being part of this franchise's history, but these two guys, man. Again, it's incredible, and nobody knows really what the future holds. Nobody knows really right now except Mike Hazen and maybe a few individuals. If the Dbacks, Robbie Ray is a great pull. That's a great example of that. But
traded him for nothing.
Yeah. If I pulled up the Robbie Ray trade, no, that hurts too much.
It'll make you sick to your
stomach. We're not
going
to do that.
Is Merrill Kelly I needed to ask this before we got off the subject. Is he the best move of the Mike Hazen era? He was a Mike Hazen move, I believe. 2018.
Probably, but there were a couple of other trades and things the D-backs did. It's hard not to think of the Paul Sewald trade as being instrumental to the Diamondbacks making it to the World Series, so that was pretty key, and they did give up quite a bit for him, but I think that
that doesn't touch Merrill Kelly, though. It ordered some structure into the bullpen.
They wouldn't have made
and it was a huge move.
They wouldn't have made the World Series without Paul Sewald.
They wouldn't have made the World Series without, or the playoffs without Merrill Kelly, brother.
Fair. That's fair. That's a lot of there's a lot of unraveling we could do with that, but could very well be the best move of Mike Hazen's era, and a lot of those moves are moves like that Mike Hazen has been good about identifying talent. Hopefully, he can continue to do that here at the trade deadline in as far as the return for some of these guys. But yeah, Peace Yoshi brings up Eduardo Escobar, and that's definitely one of the ones I would think of too. But anyway, we are going to talk more about your Mailbag Monday questions and less about this team being terrible, though I'm sure a lot of the Mailbag Monday questions are also about that. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, we're sticking on the subject of the sun making our summers miserable because APS wants to remind you that over 50% of your energy costs come from cooling your home at this time of the year. So make sure you are doing it as efficiently as possible with a smart thermostat. Smart thermostats help you control your temperature when you are away. They can help you set a schedule. Most importantly, they can help save you money. By raising your thermostat just 1 degree, you can save up to 2 to 3% on your cooling costs and your energy costs on your home. So make sure you have a smart thermostat. If you don't have one, APS can possibly get you one for as low as $0. And you can find APS customers can find instant rebates, discounts, and special offers on smart thermostats, energy efficient appliances, and more at marketplace.aps.com. Right now, APS customers may be eligible for those smart thermostats for as low as $0 when you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program. If you already have a smart thermostat at home, see if it's eligible to enroll in Cool Rewards. Plus, free installation is available at marketplace.aps.com. Must be an APS customer and pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions do apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for more information. And our friends at Mountain America Credit Union is committed to giving you and helping you find all of your financial goals and dreams. Of course, reaching those financial goals and dreams, for more than 1 million members. They have hundreds of branches throughout the West. And right now you can get 2 times the points on rewards credit card purchases through July 31st. Damon, I feel like that is one of those things that I grow up and I finally realized I wasn't doing well enough, which was using those rewards to make sure to get as much back as I possibly could. You can use your Mountain America rewards card and watch the points pile up. It's perfect for gas, groceries, travel, home projects, and all other purchases. This promotion is an easy way to stretch your dollar since you earn twice as many rewards. It's limited time only. Take advantage of it while you can. Details at macu.com/double. Loans on approved credit. Offer can change, be withdrawn at any time. Limited time only. Terms and conditions do apply. So make sure to visit our friends at Mountain America Credit Union to get yourself straight with your finances. Well, Damon, today is Monday, and I'm sad. I wanted to cancel Mailbag Monday. I did because I feel like we should cancel it. I don't feel like maybe,
it's a happy holiday.
I mean, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a triumphant moment. We're supposed to be on here laughing, cracking jokes, having a good time. I'm not in the mood for that. I just traded Jesse Jr. I still don't know what the return is for him. It's a player to be named later. But we do have to do what we do here every Monday, because every year on this show, no matter how bad things get, is the year of the snake. And every month on this show is Black History Month. Every month on this show is Women's History Month. And every month on this show is Black Women's History Month. Every single week is Shark Week, not just 1 week Discovery Channel. We do it all year long. And every day is Earth Day because me and Damon recycle. But mostly on Mondays, we go to the mailbag. Damon, let's go.
My mailbox, always something interesting in my mailbox. I try to get to everything in my mailbox, and then once in a while there's a letter that makes me go wow, wow, my mailbox.
All right, what do we got in the mailbag today, Damon?
First question comes from Fleaball, and Fleaball asks, do you see any of our minor leaguers getting traded this month? Lawler, Tawa, Diaz, Lynn. It seems we don't have room for that many in the bigs.
Well, no, I don't see any minor leaguers being traded. At least that's how I would feel. I feel like the Diamondbacks are in a mode right now to improve this team, and they need depth. They can't really, if I'm being honest, can't afford to part ways with a lot of those guys. And if they do, it would be to just receive more minor league depth, right? So I'm not saying that there isn't, like it's not a 0% chance, but I would say it's a very low percentage chance. It's similar to the Mike Hazen comments the other day that caused a lot of people to be rattled on social media, when Mike Hazen basically said that nobody is really safe from being traded, and they are receiving calls on everybody. And it shouldn't be a surprise that they are. They know that the Diamondbacks are specifically interested in trading the guys on expiring contracts, but of course that doesn't keep teams from checking in. And Mike brought up a lot of names. Somehow Ketel Marte's name got singled out in that, but he brought up Corbin Carroll. He brought up Brandon Pfaadt. He brought up Brian Nelson. He brought up several guys that are under contract. He brought up Perdomo, which Damon would literally take this lighting rig down and wrap it in fabric and create a torch and go down to Chase Field right now.
I already
threatened
with Ketel that I was going to quit the show.
Oh, you were quit the show. You might even quit doing sports altogether.
You don't want to know what would happen.
No, I mean, it would be dramatic. And people were calling you dramatic. You rightfully so. Rightfully so. right? Why are we even talking about trading Ketel, right? But it's funny because it's a flashy name. It's easy to single out Ketel's name there. But as you heard on the show, as we played for you out of Mike Hazen's mouth, he didn't single out Ketel himself. He just said he was receiving calls on all of those guys. And it's not to say that he's not listening, but when they ask, what would you consider for Ketel Marte? Mike Hazen's answer is your entire starting lineup is what he's saying back in return. And that's what he should. And if they are, and if they're hanging up on him, that's fine. That's how this whole process should go.
I love the people telling me in my mentions, Derek, that were like, you have to answer the call as a GM. Yeah, man, I didn't say otherwise.
Right.
It's still insane to trade Ketel Marte when you have him extended till 2034.
Oh, 1,000%.
Isn't it 2034?
1,000%, but it's one of those things where it's a player that is your MVP of your team. 2031. It's a player that's the MVP of your team. It's a player that you absolutely aren't going to trade. But again, it's not that you're not taking calls on it. It's just that you aren't really considering it. And if you are like, okay, well, I'm going to need 3 of your best starting pitchers for him. So, but when it comes to the question, which I'm totally sidetracking on, I don't think that that's what the Diamondbacks are looking for. It's not to say that if a deal comes up that's outrageously hard to pass up, that the Diamondbacks wouldn't consider it if it involved one of those young players, but their current state requires them to kind of stack those young guys. So far, the moves that the Diamondbacks have made are fairly upsetting to people because it's a bunch of relatively unknown young relievers, and it takes time for those moves to flourish and to fill out. You have to see what those guys do in their career. In baseball, the reason why it's disappointing to get minor leaguers back at return is because you never know if they're even going to reach a major league level. But at this point, it's very much one of those things that the Diamondbacks are. They're going to take calls on everybody. It's just, what are they actually considering? Yeah. Okay. So Espo's calling me in the middle of the show, which got me all frazzled. And he's trying to give me an offer on Damon right now in the middle of the show. And I'm honestly, I don't want to consider it. I want to take him on it, but I'm not doing my due diligence as a GM of not taking that phone call, Damon. Right?
You wouldn't be doing your due diligence. It's true.
But I'm going to say right now that CHGO is also calling me about the trade for Damon. And I'm going to say that Espo has 5 minutes to include me having my own office in the new office. And if you could do that, then we can talk. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. What else we got? Let's move on to the next question.
Next question comes from Basketball and Football Guy. And they asked, do you think it's possible that the Dbacks could acquire the number 8 overall prospect, number 1 for the Phillies, Andrew Painter, because that guy looks like a potential ace?
No, I don't think that. Nor do I think, I think that there are top prospects that are coveted by every team, and it's hard to imagine that the Phillies would be desperate enough to do that, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, I could see us getting a top 100 prospect or two, but top 10 feels a bit rich.
It feels a bit rich, and it feels like you would ask a lot. But
unless it was a Jordan Lawler type of top 10, or a guy who's really struggled.
Who's gonna fetch that? Gino?
Or Merrill?
Or Merrill. Right. And I mean, again, I don't know if either guy is really going to fetch that. However, if the Mets continue to win games and the Phillies get desperate, I don't know. Anything is possible. I also think that, like, again, this is as crazy as asking us for Ketel, right? You have a young, controllable pitcher that is probably going to be the ace of your staff in the future. And I think the problem is that this is the type of trade that some fans are expecting them to make. And unfortunately, it's not realistic. Now, maybe if we say that they paired Gino and Merrill together and send them to the Phillies, maybe then. I mean, again, those two guys are definitely guys that are worthy of a big trade like that if you somehow package them together in a deal. But I still don't see any franchise giving up the future of their pitching staff right now for a rental or even a pair of rentals that could be gone at the end of the season. But maybe teams get desperate. I don't know. Let's see. Huntstar, our our guy Josh says, we'll trade you Brandon and some silly memes for the NBA Jam arcade game in the office. Who says no? I don't know. Brandon's values tank lately, so I'm gonna reject that offer. You throw in. I don't know. We'll talk. I'll figure something out. I'll send you something before the end of the episode. What else we got, Damon?
Next question comes here from Ayrton
Hey.
at Freckled Mamba.
Best handle in this entire company.
100% says, will there be a lockout in 2027, Derek? Very introspective question from Ayrton. Big seam head.
He loves ball. He loves ball. And unfortunately, it's looking more and more like that. The big news today is that we had a confrontation between one Bryce Harper and Rob Manfred in the Phillies clubhouse that involved Bryce Harper telling Rob Manfred that if he was in there to talk about a salary cap, to get the F out of their clubhouse. This was very tense. And in fact, it apparently needed Nick Castellanos to break up the tension by asking a funny question and being like, hey, I have some more questions about this. And overall, it's not really a great situation for baseball. It would appear that
I did not see any of that.
Owners are very much on the course of locking out the players when the current CBA expires in December in 2026. And it would appear that we are headed for a lockout. Is it good for baseball? Is it good for anybody? Not at all. And I think the problem with baseball really is how much players can get and how little they can also get, right? Like, I don't know if there's as big of a gap between the guys that make the most in the league and the guys that make the least in working as a professional baseball player than baseball. And that's not just, you could say that just in MLB, Damon. If you want to start factoring in the minor leagues and that some of these guys don't even receive minimum wage for an annual salary, it's insane. So
yeah, it's the pay disparity is a huge problem.
It's the biggest, right? Because you have to kind of make it through so much in order for you to get to those big paydays. So who's to tell you that one time or two times perhaps at the most in your career that you can get those big contracts, that it should be limited by the amount of money that teams are allowed to pay out, right? And teams, again, like owners want this in a sport, though, that we have no idea how much they're actually making and how much they're actually losing. We'll never really know what the owners are making. And that's going to be one of the biggest problems about this whole CBA situation. Like, I offer the owners, open up your books. Let us see what you're making. Let us see what the Yankees are making with all of that money that they have everywhere. Like the Yankees owning, again, they were one of the first ones to own their own network and things like that. Like, I want to see what these teams are making. And if we can start to see what these teams are making, then maybe, just maybe, we can start to talk about a salary cap.
Yeah, I mean, I
Is
think
that common in other sports? Do other teams not have to open up their books either? Sorry for being so dumb about this, but I just know that baseball is really kind of shrouded in secrecy at times.
I doubt the NFL does because they really don't need to. Who's the NFL proving anything to?
Oh, yeah, no, not
MLB
at all.
probably doesn't because they're embarrassed by it.
Right.
In a different token.
Again, Bryce Harper standing up for baseball players is not necessarily, it doesn't surprise me that it's Bryce Harper, right? Because,
but I think that's a kind of a more nuanced, complicated issue because you could argue that the current way that baseball is implemented, the way the salary cap is, like guys like Bryce Harper, yeah, he's standing up for the 1% of MLB players who are all-stars.
Right, but
he's not really standing up for the relief pitcher who gets called up from AAA and gets up and has a $300,000 contract or whatever the minimum is. And you know what I mean? Like he keeps getting sent up and down. Like that's where a salary floor could really help those guys.
Sure.
And a salary cap, it might put a cap on the amount of money that one particular player can get. But I feel like the floor helps the collective for better. You know what I mean?
How do you feel about the current system that basically just taxes teams for overspending and then distributes that money to other teams that don't make nearly as much?
I think you know exactly how I feel about it because teams like the Dodgers who have their own television contract can just do whatever they want.
I know.
Because they're just playing by a different set of profit margin than other teams are.
It really would seem like it. It really would. All right, what else we got? Let's get one more, and then I got to tell you guys about another fantastic Die Hard sale that we got going on around here.
Next question here comes from Crobin Carroll Enthusiasts, and they ask, if Gino reaches 40 home runs with another team, does Derek still have to dye his beard?
Okay, so this has been a point of contention for a while now, and I will just say I'm going to dye my beard when Gino hits 40 home runs. I'm just gonna say I will do it because, you know, it was funny when the team was contending or not contending. It's not really funny now. And the loss of Gino is going to hurt. I'm not going to deprive you guys of the joy of seeing me look like an actual clown for at least a 3-day stretch. I'm not leaving the beard on that long. It can be shaved off very easily. But I will say that in regards to another question that we got, I you know, again, there is something to be said about the fact that, like, I'll get to it when we get to it, but I kind of hate to see Gino struggle, all jokes aside. This whole situation aside, I know there's people that are like, yeah, Derek loves this. No, Derek does not love this. Derek very much would have loved to have a good gag this week and dye my beard teal because Gino hit the 40 before the trade deadline. But
that's very noble of you, Derek, because that sounds like the worst case scenario of all worst case scenarios.
Oh, it absolutely is. And also me dyeing my beard teal in general is the worst case scenario for me as a human being, right? With a face that has to live in public and go to the bank and talk to a teller and tell them that I'm a normal adult that wants my money out. Those are going to be difficult, you know, situations to handle for me, but it's also going to be difficult for us as a fan base, I think, to collectively handle Gino getting you know, traded to another team. So yes, I will still dye my beard teal no matter what team Gino is on, and I'm doing that for you guys, so I hope you appreciate it. But I did want to tell you guys, like I said, about our Die Hard training camp sale right now. Another great time to hop on with us, join the PHNX family. Cardinals training camp is here, and so is our best Die Hard deal of the year. Join today for just $36 for the entire year, basically the price of a t-shirt. So get down on this deal right now. That's $3 a month for full access to Cardinals coverage, a free t-shirt, our exclusive Discord, and discounts on event and merchandise and so much more. So this is it. This is when the Cardinals come over and start stealing the spotlight from baseball with their training camp and their everything. And I can't wait for football season, so I'm excited. So get down right now at gophnx.com/intro-offer-social. We got some more Mailbag Monday questions, Damon. Let's get to it.
Yeah, next one here comes from Russell, and Russell asks, do you think the trade deadline has gotten to the players, Derek?
Yes. I don't really feel like there is a doubt about it in my mind that the trade deadline has gotten to players. I feel like there is a weird narrative being made that, like, Torey has lost the team and such, and I can't confirm if that is true or not. I don't think that's the case based on conversations that I've had with players recently, but things can change from one day to another. But I don't, at the end of the day, think that it's Torey's management of this team that has lost the players. I think it's the situation overall that's lost the players. And I don't know if that's an indication of Torey doing a bad job here managing or not, right? Because that's natural. For players, you know, it's like any job. It's like anything in life where people that you have become family members with to no longer be a part of the team that you're on, it sucks and it's depressing and it's hard to get over mentally. And that's where, again, a manager probably should be doing a better job at motivating or whatever. So I don't know if Torey's lost the team as the way that people conventionally want to put it, but I do think that there could be better motivation that perhaps would be, see a little bit more out of this team. I just knew this Pirates series was going to be awful because of how good the Pirates pitching is and how bad their offense is. And this whole situation going on with the Diamondbacks right now as they come in to this series. But admittedly, it was way worse than I thought it was going to be. What else we got, Damon?
Next question here is from Mark, and Mark asks, if you had to be caught on a Coldplay cam with one Dbacks player, who would it be?
Oh, that's a great question.
There's layers to this, though, because I think I've been seeing a lot of the use of the meme where it's like it's not being properly used. It's supposed to be someone that people think that you don't get along with, or maybe you're not supposed to be seen with.
Sure.
But you secretly love them.
Yeah.
Right. It's not just someone that you love. Like if it was me and Jerry, that wouldn't make sense. Because I'm not diving away. I might hug him tighter.
Yeah. Like my first thought actually was something similar to that. It was Ryan Thompson, right? Me being the little spoon, Ryan being the big spoon in the back. But we weren't at a Coldplay concert together. We're just up on the club level watching professional wrestling together, just having the best time, right? But that makes too much sense. The only reason why it doesn't is because Ryan Thompson and I are very, very much opposites in real life. And I just, it's once again a proof that you can't really choose who your friends in this life are. Me and Ryan bonded over pro wrestling. But besides that, we're just friends. And again, it's like it extends beyond other things in life, but we are very much opposites. Folding Chable says Derek and Dave Roberts. I'm sure Damon loves that one. See, that would prove we're enemies though, right?
Well,
That's an enemy.
Yoshi said we've already been over this. Derek is with the Dodgers. And that's where, I love the listeners of this fine show, but
I hate you, and
the second that meme came out, I was like, it's just like Derek's relationship with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh, I know. I saw you.
I hate him.
I was on vacation. I saw you put that tweet out.
I hate him so much.
Yeah.
But when no one's looking, God, isn't Mookie
yeah,
cool?
Yeah.
Don't we just love Freddie Freeman?
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who it actually would. Me and Lourdes, maybe. I don't know. Me and Nick Ahmed. That's probably the one. That's probably the one, right? Me and Nick Ahmed. All right, let's move on as quickly as we can. What else?
For me, it'd be like Pavin Smith at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
Like the first month and a half of the season, I'm like, this is my DH.
Okay,
then people see me and I'm like, what are you talking about? No.
See, you're going to be mad about this, but Mark's original question involved him asking us which of the Diamondbacks players were fantastic. Were members of the Fantastic Four, which was going to be hard to make someone the Invisible Woman without sounding like I'm putting them down. But I was going to make Pavin the Invisible Woman. And for that reason, it was because Pavin just disappears and then randomly shows up.
I thought you were going to make him the Human Torch because of his red hair.
Yeah, no, that's too easy. That
is too on the nose.
Yeah.
Let's do all of these real quick.
No, I mean, Gino would be the Human Torch. He was
Okay.
the one that was on fire, but his fire died quickly, much like the Chris Evans version in Deadpool. We'll go with, let's see. So we got
James McCann is the thing.
Of course he is.
I mean, have you seen those arms?
What are you talking about? Get out of my head. He's absolutely the thing, and there's no question about it.
He's built like him.
And then there's Mr. Fantastic, which has to be Corbin Carroll, right? I mean, I don't know. Ketel could kind of be.
Ketel's a little stiff to be Mr. Fantastic.
I was going to say he's stretchy and makes some great catches, right? Corbin's been making some great catches in the outfield lately. I'm going to give him Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm with it.
All right. Moving on. Let's do one more question. Let's get out of here. We're wasting too much of your time today. All right. That's that one. Well, we got
Michael Rokicki rounds us out and asks, what PHNX employee is most likely to get caught on the Dbacks oblivious cam?
Okay, so they had someone the other day that I swear to God it was going to be the entire game, and this person wasn't going to notice that they were on the scoreboard. It almost went into the anthem. It was incredible. But the oblivious cam is one where someone's not paying attention to being on the jumbotron out there at Chase Field, and it would have to be someone that gets really locked in. My first initial thought is that it would be Noah or a producer in some way, because I go to talk to you people and it's like you have completely turned off the world while you're working on a graphic, and that
there's a chance Noah's doing like a bit or something, like dancing weird, walking around, and you could get like a good action shot.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. Yeah. But he's not doing it for anybody. Much like around here. Like, he's not on camera. So he doesn't do it for anybody but his own amusement and perhaps the amusement of those around him, which once again just confirms his case for the oblivious cam.
Yeah, I like that pick. What about like Shane doing his monkey walk? Have you seen his monkey walk?
Yeah, for sure. Or Shane holding up the baby. Shane with the baby.
But that felt almost intentional.
Well, he got on the big screen, so it worked for sure. But Shane likes attention too much. You would notice. Shane would keep an eye out of the corner of his eye to make sure he wasn't making it up on the big screen, just in case he made it up on the big screen.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anybody that we're just glaringly missing here.
I don't know. Gerald Writing seems like that's also an easy one. Max Simpson? Mr. Oblivious sometimes? Mr. Vacations most of the time, but Mr. Oblivious sometimes.
I feel like Max is just like it would try too hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He would enjoy the attention once again, just far too much.
I could definitely see like
some sort of Noah.
Some sort of Kevin Noah bit that's going on.
Yeah, for
where
sure.
They just have no idea that anyone around them is listening, can hear them, a camera's on them, none of the above.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys aren't oblivious to what's going on right now with this team, but I do thank you guys so much for joining us. Of course, make sure to follow us on Twitter. I am at Cap_Caveman with a K. Damon is at Damon Dog with a DAWG at the end. We are all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Appreciate you guys so much for your time. We will be back tomorrow with another post-game show. Why? I'll continue to ask myself that between now and then. I hope you guys between now and then have yourselves a wonderful evening. Hope the Diamondbacks can figure out a way to turn it around against the Tigers in Detroit tonight. And we will be talking about all of this tomorrow. Again, make sure you follow our show at PHNX_Dbacks. But as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports. Enjoy your evening. Appreciate your time. It's your most valuable commodity. So thank you for it. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you don't have to wave the white flag here on January 28th.
We all silly like the mayor.